All right, NAIFA, good afternoon to some of you. Good morning to the rest of you. Thanks for joining us. It's 12:03 p.m. on the East Coast, so I want to get started. I'm excited to have everyone here. My name is Brock Jolly. For those of you who I may not have had the pleasure of meeting, I currently serve as the treasurer of NAIFA nationally, and I am really excited for today's webinar. We've got a great guest speaker, lots to cover today, and so couple of things on behalf of the entire NAIFA executive committee. I want to thank everyone for being here. We've gotten tremendous feedback. We've now been doing these town hall meetings for 4 weeks and gotten tremendous feedback. And I think the message here is you, our members, asked for this, and we've tried our best to deliver. And so the feedback is super helpful. If there are items, topics, things that you want to hear about, things that you have concerns about, things that you're hearing from your clients, please let us know. We really want to make this valuable time spent for each of you and really deliver on the promise and the value that is NAIFA membership. A couple of things I want to bring to your attention. First things first, all of the town hall meetings are archived. So over the past 4 weeks, we've heard from speakers like Tom Hegna, Jamie Hopkins, Dave Resseguy, Ike Trotter, John Richardson, Scott Cinder, Van Miller, Ryan Pinney, and more. Just some top-notch industry speakers. There's some more coming that I'll cover at the end of the call. But feel free to visit the website belong.naifa.org. And you can find all of those archived messages. And we'd really love for you to check those out if you didn't have an opportunity to join us live. I'm telling you, I've been in the industry for 20 years now, and some of the best content and some of the best sales ideas, certainly in light of what's going on with the coronavirus pandemic, can be found on those archives. So certainly hope you'll get a chance to visit those, and please, again, give us your feedback, because that's very valuable. I also want to draw your attention to NAIFA Impact Week, which is coming up in less than a month. That's May 19th through 21st. And that is in place of the congressional conference. Obviously, sort of twofold in light of the current situation and social distancing and all of that, but more specifically because the hotel is actually not allowing these type of events. We have moved that to a virtual format. And I tell you, while it's going to be disappointing to not see all of you face to face, and not have the impact that we normally might have by all running up to Capitol Hill, I think we're going to have an opportunity that maybe can spread to even more people and potentially have even greater impact. We've got a diversity symposium that's going to be just out of sight, some really good speakers, some really good collaboration that I'm anticipating is going to occur there, advocacy and action day, and a leadership day. And I'll tell you, there's some behind the scenes words about who one of our speakers might be on that leadership day. And I'm super excited about that, and stay tuned for more. I won't let the cat out of the bag, but I'm very excited for that. And I think also, our industry is really starting to take notice. And so I would tell you, as sort of the big tent in the financial services industry, NAIFA really takes the responsibility of being the leader in this industry very seriously. I would encourage you to invite others to attend. And we've seen people on these calls who are leaders in organizations like MDRT and NAILBA and AALU and Gamma and some others, and really appreciate everybody being here and sort of being the sounding board for the industry, and would encourage you to continue to attend and really, come together as one in the profession. So I'm going to turn it over to Kevin Mayu to give us some of his thoughts and just some of the things that he's seeing from his perspective. I feel like this is about the 7th time I've introduced Kevin in the last month, so I'll keep it short and sweet. But Kevin continues to do a great job and serve as just the visionary leader, not only for NAIFA, but really for our industry. And so, Kevin, we're lucky to have you. Excited to hear your thoughts, and I will turn it over to you.
Thanks, Brock. And again, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us here today. Like Brock said, NAIFA's been doing these town halls and other virtual events throughout the course of the entire COVID-19 pandemic, really to make sure that we're fulfilling our promise to you as members of this association and as professionals in this space to make sure we're delivering timely, relevant information for you. We're giving you an opportunity to connect with your peers and really show you that sense of community that NAIFA and all professional associations are geared to do. Speaking of that, we and NAIFA really are a family. And we know that right now we've got members that are hurting out there. And so just like we did for the hurricane responses when we had different natural disasters throughout the past decade, NAIFA has basically reactivated that fund, and we're calling it the NAIFA Family Response Fund. You can see right there on the screen, there is a link at cfaacadiana.org/NAIFA if you'd like to donate. And NAIFA members, if they have experienced health issues or unfortunately a death or something that has come about through COVID-19, not economic losses, but through things that were health concerns, you're eligible to apply for a grant from that fund. So if anybody would like to contribute, there's the link. And of course, if anyone was unfortunately negatively physically impacted by this, you're eligible to receive a grant. So we're there for you. Just like we're there for you when we come to lobbying and advocacy efforts, we have the best government relations team in the entire business. Couldn't be more proud to work with the fine professionals we've got on the NAIFA staff and the great consultants that we have engaged working on your behalf every day, not just in the nation's capital, but in our state houses all across the country. Letting you know, of course, we're actively involved in regularly tracking and even have insiders within the different leadership offices and the committee offices, letting us know exactly what's going on with the different COVID-19 relief packages. We stay informed of that and we pass on relevant information to you guys to make sure you're informed. Regarding the stimulus bills that have already passed, we kept you guys informed as to that, and we expect, of course, another stimulus package, which they're calling version 3.5, to pass anytime this week. And so once that's out, we'll get a Gov update to you to let you know what's going on and keep you informed. In addition to that, please know that we're working to represent you in state houses all across this country, and of course at the interstate level with the NAIC INCOIL, and then of course with the National Insurance Producers Register. NAIFA, by the way, is only one of 3 associations that has a seat on the NIPR. It's us, ACLI, and the Big I. Those 3 organizations have a seat on that, sitting with insurance commissioners from around the country, making sure, again, that your voice is represented with that important body. And then again, as much as everything's going on at the state level, the federal level, so many of our states are enacting legislation related to COVID-19 and the pandemic. Things such as loosening regulations so that you can better do your business and serve your clients in this new environment and other things. And so letting you know we have a resource available to help you track that stuff, state stuff, in a live, up-to-date environment. And you can see the link right there at advocacy.naifa.org/COVID-19. So not only can you stay informed as to what's happening federally, you can also see what's going on in each of the 50 states around the country. So we're doing our best to constantly keep you informed. And we appreciate, again, you guys being here and being on this call and staying up to date so you can pass the word on to other professionals in this space and also to your clients about what's happening. Couple more plugs for this week. We have some bonus content coming to you on Wednesday. The session we had last week on the Paycheck Protection Program was so well attended, with more than 2,100 people registered for that event last Thursday. We had about 80 questions that were still in the queue when that webinar ended. So we are going to have a session on this Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, with our professionals at Steptoe and Johnson that are going to go through all those questions we didn't get to and do their best to answer those for you on Wednesday. So please, if you've got some time, attend that webinar, because you'll find a lot of relevant stuff for you to again help you do your jobs better and also figure out what impacts your business line as well. So both for you and for your clients. And then again on Thursday, we have another great town hall on the impacts of current events on retirement income planning. So we'll hope you'll join us on both Wednesday and Thursday. And again, thanks for all you're doing. We appreciate you, and we're glad that we could be here for you as your professional association. Brock, back to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate all of that. And it is now my pleasure to I think I'm the only guy, by the way, that has less facial hair I look at that picture. I'm the only guy with less facial hair, but I'm doing my best to grow out the sideburns here. So, we all cope during the coronavirus pandemic here. So with that, it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker today. And I've known Dierdre Van Ness now for 4, maybe 5 years. And I tell you what, she is just continues to be a great resource in our industry for advisors. And if you'd like to show up powerfully when communicating in uncertain times, I promise you that you're in the right place. Our presenter, Dierdre Van Ness, is a top-rated international keynoter and the creator of the Crazy Good Talks Blueprint and the Emotionally Engaging Advisor, which are 2 communication systems that have taught thousands of financial professionals how to do 3 primary things. Number 1, bring in business faster. Number 2, make emotional connections with clients and prospects. And number 3, impact more lives. Like I said, I've known Dierdre now for 4, maybe 5 years, and I just recently had her speak at the NAIFA Greater Washington, D.C. Success Summit, and just a raving success at what a crazy good talk she did, and just connecting with our advisors and our community. And as someone who does a lot of public speaking throughout the year, I can tell you that she's got a compelling message, something that I'm able to relate with. And I tell you, one of the challenges is I see a lot of advisors who are technically very proficient, but they can't connect or engage with prospective audiences. And I think that's critically important. And Dierdre has a really compelling message and a real heart for our industry and the impact that we do have. Since 2012, Dierdre has conducted hundreds of virtual meetings. And today, her number 1 goal is to empower each and every one of us to connect more deeply with clients when we communicate both on and offline. So with that, I'll turn it over to Dierdre, and a big NAIFA welcome. Thanks very much, Dierdre.
Thank you, Brock. I appreciate it. All right, let me just share my screen with you. So give me a moment here. All right, let me go into slideshow. Can you see my slides, Brock?
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. All right, great. So Dr. Martin Luther King once said that the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands in times of challenge and controversy. And I think that you'd agree that these are certainly challenging and controversial times. So how do you communicate effectively in uncertain times? Well, today you're going to learn a 3-step process that will allow you to communicate in uncertain times and help you make that vital emotional connection with your prospects and clients. Now, what might surprise you is that the first step and the foundational principle for communicating your message effectively in uncertain times and making that emotional connection actually has nothing to do with what you say or some fancy tech strategy. The first step, especially right now when there's a crisis happening, people are afraid, they're confused, and just so much is coming at them, is to actually focus on who you're being, not just on what you're saying. See, how you show up for people, the energy you bring to your meetings, oftentimes is more important than what you actually might be saying. And you need to remember that you're a leader and a first responder in this economic crisis. And before I go on, I really want to thank you for that. And I want to acknowledge you. I want you to know that I see you. I know the burden that's been placed on your shoulders. You have a lot to manage and a lot to deal with, and you're taking care of a lot of people. And so I really want to acknowledge you for that. I have a real heart for this industry. Just in a brief nutshell, you may have heard my story before, but if not, my mom died suddenly when I was 10 years old in a car accident. And I learned at that young age that life can change, right, in a snap. And it's made me very appreciative of your services and the products that you offer and the way you come alongside people. So I just want you to know that I get you and I see you, and I want to thank you for all the hard work that you're doing. Here's the thing though, when you're a first responder and you're a leader, people in your life are going to be watching to see how you react for cues on how they should react. So your prospects, your clients, your families, your communities, they need you to step up and lead in a way that you have never been called to lead before. Your followers need you to show up powerfully for them. So I really want to call out to the deepest recess of your soul and ask you to step up and lead very powerfully. And why is this concept of really stepping up and just taking everything you have in you and leading so critical and so important during this time? It's critical because there's only one thing that's more contagious than this virus. And I'd love for you to type in the chat, what do you think is more contagious? What's the one thing more contagious than this virus? Type that in the chat, and then Suzanne, when we get a couple of things, because I can't see the chat at the moment, let me know what you've got.
So it's interesting, Dierdre. We have a kind of a mixed bag. We have about half saying more powerful is negativity or fear, something along those lines. The other half is saying attitude and positivity and energy.
Okay, so they're all right. It is your attitude, right? So your attitude could be fear, it could be negativity, it could be positivity, whatever, however you want to group that together, it all falls under the category of attitude. And I think you'd agree that attitude is a domino effect, right? And there is a ripple effect to your attitude. And so that's why effective communication starts first with who you're being. Listen, you can't decide how the news of the day is going to go, right? That's out of your control, but you can decide who you'll be and how you'll show up for people. And the way to show up for people is to powerfully and intentionally answer this question. Here's the question. How do I want to show up for the people that I lead during this crisis? Okay, intentionally asking yourself this question and then committing to your answer is the key to sustaining your attitude during uncertain times. And I want to submit that you must decide in advance who you're going to be. Otherwise, your attitude is going to be just blown by the wind. And maybe this has happened to you. This has definitely happened to me before, right? You start the day, everything's going great, you're in a great mood, and at the end of the day, you get an annoying email from that client or that team member, and your mood tanks, right? Or maybe right now the stock market is up, so you're like, okay, this is a pretty good day. Tomorrow the stock market's down, and your mood, it tanks again, right? So to communicate effectively right now, when things are uncertain, you can't let your emotions rule your attitude. And I think that's the thing to recognize, is that your emotions and your attitude are two different things. You're totally entitled to the emotions that you have. And I do not want to sit here and say this is some Pollyanna unicorn, you can't have any emotion other than positive. That's not realistic, and that's not the case. But you can decide that your emotions are not going to determine your attitude and how you're going to show up for people. And in fact, I would say you must decide that, because the stakes are too high right now. People are depending on you in a way that they've never likely depended on you before. And I feel this in my own business. So you're the first responder to the consumer, and I'm a first responder to the first responder, which is you. So I take my attitude and how I'm showing up really seriously so I can be there for you. So the attitude, about 5 weeks ago when things really started kind of going south with this whole coronavirus, the attitude that I decided I was going to take and the energy that I was going to bring to the table for you is that I was going to be exceedingly encouraging and helpful. And that's the place that I've been for the last 5 weeks, the last 6 weeks, when I've been serving this community and been serving, people in my family, in my community. So the question that I want to ask you, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to answer this question for yourself. Jot it down somewhere on a notebook, type it onto your computer, and then I want you to put it in the chat. How do you want to show up right now for the people that you lead? Another way to answer this question that's equally as powerful is, when this is all said and done, we're past this, who do you want to say you were for the people in your life? So go ahead, take about 30 seconds. We'll just take 30 seconds of silence, jot down how you want to show up, who you want to say when this is all over, and then start typing that in the chat. And then Suzanne, in about 20 seconds, you can start reading me some of the answers.
All right, we have many a answer coming in, and they're really all a very consistent approach towards calm, comforting, professional voice of reason, positive, leader, resource, strong, a lot of enthusiastic.
Love it.
Confident, that's a good one. Calm and confident.
Calm and confident.
Yeah. And I will
Okay.
give you I have to tell you that somebody wrote in and said, thank you, Steve, for writing in. He said, you got that right, sister. So you keep at it. Preach.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. Okay, so here's the deal. It's one thing to decide what your attitude is going to be and how you want to show up, but then you have to intentionally remind yourself throughout the day over and over and over again how you're going to show up. So let me just tell you a couple of things that I've been doing. So the first thing that I do is, anytime I know I'm going to talk with a client in particular, so you, like right now, I remind myself, okay, Dierdre, how do you want to show up? What's the energy you want to bring to the table? And I remind myself, you want to be exceedingly encouraging and helpful, okay? And so I mentally get myself into that place. One of the ways that you can help mentally get into that place and sustain it is to have what I call an energy protection plan, okay? Protecting your energy so that you can sustain this way of being for the long haul, right? This isn't just going to happen. It's something that you have to work at. So for example, if you are someone who wants to be calm, then you can't be racing around between one Zoom meeting to the next with your hair on fire, right? You've got to build in moments for you to get calm during the day. And so what I want to encourage you to do is to come up with a list of daily practices to help you live out the way that you want to show up. So for me, I have 6 daily practices. So the first one is prayer. Second is Bible study. Third is journaling. The fourth is meditation. The fifth is exercise. And the sixth is to make sure I'm connecting with friends and family on Zoom or, you know, via phone calls. So what I'd like you to do right now is jot down 3 daily practices you can build into your life to make sure that you stay on track and have the highest likelihood of success of maintaining this way of being for the long haul. So just take a moment, jot those down. And then I want to talk about a second thing that has come up for me recently, a little trap and a little tip here about protecting your energy. Okay, so start building those daily practices into your life if you haven't done so already. The other thing that you might also need to do is to protect other people from your energy. So what do I mean by that? Well, you're a human being, and so it's unlikely that you're not going to have bumps in the road, and you're not going to have moments where you really feel negative. Maybe you feel down, you're sad, you're scared, you're frustrated, you're sick of how long this is going on. You feel the burden of all these phone calls and all the clients that are relying on you to be calm and confident. And in those moments, first of all, yes, talk to some trusted confidants, right? It's best to get those emotions out. But there might come a time when you just need to be in a bad mood. And I had that yesterday. My husband and I woke up, we immediately started talking about whether or not school is going to be in session in the fall. I've got a daughter who's going into college, who has been waiting, literally this child has been waiting since 7th grade to go to college, and she's finally going. And so the thought of her having to wait an extra semester, it just tanked my mood. And I went for a walk and I prayed and I did my daily practices. I couldn't get out of the funk. And I thought, okay, my family does not deserve to be around my negative energy today. And so I need to tell them that this is where I'm at and I'm really struggling to come out of it. So I came back from my walk and I was like, listen, guys, I'm just not in a great mood. I just need to tell you that. And so I'm going to encourage you to not like try to engage with me that much, because I don't want my mood to rub off on you. And this is one of the things that we need to be aware of, is that during this time, particularly when we're quarantined, it's close quarters, your family in particular does not need your stress, your negativity to run over on them. Okay, you need to protect other people when you know you're not in a great place, in a great mood. And so go to your confidants, do your thing. But if you can't turn it around, I want to encourage you to just, maybe you just need some time alone and to kind of warn the other people in your life. Because the bottom line is, a bad attitude spreads and infects others, again, faster than this virus. Okay, so to recap, step number one of really communicating with people in uncertain times and making that vital emotional connection is first to recognize you're a leader, take that role seriously, and then decide how you're going to show up, commit to how you're going to show up, and then do everything you can to protect your energy. Now, step two, when someone comes to you with a challenge or a problem, what do you typically want to do? Type in the chat. If I came to you, I'm your client, or I'm even your friend, and I come to you with a challenge or a problem, what's sort of your knee-jerk reaction of what you want to do? Go ahead and type it in, and then Suzanne, let me know what people say.
All right, we have quite a few that are offer solutions, listen, calm the storm, listen to the real issue, support and say yes, solve it. A lot of listen first. We've got a lot of good listeners.
I love that. I love those listeners, because most people, and I'll tell you, I can be guilty of this too if I'm not intentional about it, our knee-jerk reaction is to solve the problem. We want to make people feel better, particularly if it's a client and you feel somewhat responsible for how they're feeling. You want them to feel better. And so you might tend to jump into solution mode, but I'm going to encourage you not to do that right away, to take a step back and engage in what I call affirming empathy. So to all those listeners out there, yes, you absolutely want to listen to what your clients, and I'm just going to talk about clients, but you can use this obviously with team members and prospects and friends and family, but let's just say clients. You know, when you're talking with your clients, you first want to listen to them and empathetically affirm what they are saying. And let me give you a good example of this and a bad example. I'll give you the bad example first. This is another mistake that I made recently. So when everything started kind of really going down, it was like the week of March 12th, and I was really excited because I decided I was going to show up powerfully for you, and I was taking my role of a leader very seriously, and I was talking to my sister, who's also a leader in her area of work, and I was like, okay, Stacey, so here's where I'm at, and as leaders, we need to show up powerfully for people. We need to be the light in the darkness, and I'm just going on and on and on. But she's in this place of feeling really down that day, right? She's feeling really down and telling me she's feeling kind of down and depressed. And I'm like, oh, snap out of it. People are counting on you. People are counting on you to be positive. And so Suzanne, I'll ask you, how do you think she felt after that conversation?
Not very good whatsoever. That you didn't whatsoever attacked, defensive. Yeah, just probably depressed.
Yeah, she felt like I was preaching at her, Suzanne, right? She felt like I was preaching at her. And fortunately, she didn't say that, but we hung up the call and I was like, oh, I don't feel good right now. And I was like, Dierdre, you totally just kind of slimed your good attitude. I know that might sound weird, but you can slime your positivity all over people when they're not ready for it, right? And you preached at her. So I had to call her and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I was just so in my space and I wanted to solve it for you. And so it was a great example of what not to do. Contrast that with my financial advisor, okay? So when I called my advisor, Eric, this is the conversation we had. So on February 21st, I made a large contribution to my STEP account, right? So I called Eric on March 12th. He answers the phone, and after I asked him how he was doing, and Brock, to your point, Brock said this is the time where we really earn our money as advisors. Brock, the first thing he said was, Dierdre, I live for this. And he said, this is why you pay me what you pay me. This is how I earn my, he didn't say earn my keep, but it was sort of that mentality. So I felt like as a client, that made me feel like I didn't have to take care of him. And that was really powerful and confident and a relief for me. So just a little tip there. But after he said that, and I knew he was okay, I said, listen, Eric, I got to tell you, I wish that I did not write that check to you on February 21st. I wish I was sitting in your office right now, writing that check, or that I was in your office 2 weeks from now when things are even lower, writing this check. And I think the tendency for many advisors in that moment would be to try to rescue me and go into solution mode. And he didn't do that. He took a step back and he said, Dierdre, you know what? I wish you didn't write that check too. I wish we were meeting today or in 2 weeks. And I'll tell you what, in that moment, and I've been working with Eric for years, we have a very strong relationship, but in that moment, that strong relationship got even stronger. I felt a deeper emotional connection with him than I had felt before. And we already had a really deep emotional connection. So just sometimes it only takes 30 seconds, right? Sometimes it might take 5 minutes, but don't blow past what your clients are saying. Hear what they're saying, acknowledge what they're saying, affirm what they're saying. You're a human being, you get it, put yourself in their shoes. So the next step is using affirming empathy. But, and you know this, so I'm not going to share anything you probably don't already know. This is a reminder. You can't leave them there, right? You can't leave them wallowing and upset and feeling discouraged. So then the next step is to do what I call vision cast, okay? So vision cast is when you show them a positive future, right? We don't want to leave people sitting in the short-term problem right now because we don't know when the short-term problem is going to correct, but we know long-term, most people are going to be fine. And you know that from going back to history, right? And so your role then is to vision cast a positive future. You can, focus on their long-term plans, on their long-term goals, share stories, share analogies, okay? Share a historical perspective like Eric did with me of where the stock market has been over the last 93 years. He got me engaged in this really cool quiz that helped me feel more confident about moving forward. Use transformational language that's outcome driven and benefit driven that gets your clients feeling confident, feeling calm and excited about the future. And that's actually what Eric did with me. And I got on that call feeling really upset and discouraged and regretful for writing that check. And I got off feeling confident and hopeful about the future. And I want to encourage you, and you're probably already doing this, so some of this might be reminders, others might be tweaks or a new skill you can pick up, but I want to encourage you, if you're not doing this, start doing it. And if you are, to just continue doing it, and hopefully this will help you do it at a higher level. So before I officially close us out, I have a couple of parting words that I just want to use to encourage you. Any comments or questions on anything I just said?
We don't seem to have any questions or comments.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so I want to leave you with this before I turn it back to Brock. Socrates once said, the secret of change is to focus all of your energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new, okay? So this is a new opportunity, as you well know, and I encourage you to continue to look at it that way. I actually believe this is going to be a great opportunity for this industry. I think that consumers are going to be more focused on great financial education, great financial coaching. I think they're going to be open to more products like life insurance and disability income protection. I think this has opened the door to a conversation, and I think people are going to realize how much they need your help in a way they've never realized it before, perhaps. I also believe this is a great opportunity for the individual advisor. I think we'd all agree that most advisors get more clients when markets are down than when markets are booming, right? When markets are booming, most people are apathetic. Like, why would I change advisors? Things are great. I don't really need your help. But when markets are down, people really rely on advisors that are reaching out and being proactively playing offense, as Brock was saying, making that emotional connection, building those relationships and coming alongside of them with their arms around them, coaching them. And so this is an opportunity for you to get out there. I would be prospecting like mad. I would be, go back to clients that maybe have left you. Go to your natural market and ask if they need a second opinion. Be out there talking with people. Call those people on your chicken list and say, hey, I'm just here to check in and make sure you're okay. And if you need a second opinion, I'm here for you. And make sure you are constantly communicating with your clients. Your clients need to see your face. They need to see a video of you. They need to hear your calm, confident voice. So the bottom line is, I want you to know that you've got this. If you are in this industry right now, you were called. I believe you were called to such a time as this. And I want you to remember that the world desperately needs your expertise, and even more, they need your calm, confident leadership. So with that, thank you for having me. I wish that you would be blessed. I'm praying for you. I'm thinking about you. If I can help you in any way, feel free to reach out to me. I'm very active on LinkedIn, and I will turn this over to Brock.
Perfect. Thanks, Dierdre. I really, really appreciate it. Some great stuff. And I'm even seeing Steve Caldera, who's been on all of the town halls, I believe, says best town hall yet. So some rave reviews there.
Thank you, Steve.
We've got a few minutes left. And so, Dierdre, I'd love for you to talk. And I know we're all sort of in this, what some are calling the new normal. Hopefully that's not the case, but I know you just recently released some virtual training programs to help advisors connect more deeply when they do communicate with clients and prospects. Can you just take a minute to tell us about that and where our members can get more information, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been cooking this up for the last year. This is like birthing a baby, Brock. It's a new online virtual program with some group time with me called the Emotionally Engaging Advisor. And again, I've been planning this for a year, but I think it's even more timely than when I actually kind of cooked this all up, right? If you want to truly be emotionally engaging with your clients and with your prospects, then I would love to help you gain those skills. Some of the skills that you'll learn and master in this program are storytelling skills. There's 3 types of stories that every advisor needs to be telling, whether it's one-on-one or in groups or on video. And I'll teach you exactly how to tell those stories and when to be telling those. Also, I talked about, when we talked about vision casting, Brock, I talked about stories, but also what I call transformational language, learning how to speak in benefits and outcomes and transformational language versus just speaking in features, like casting a vision as to where people, where you can take people and why they should be working with you. So it's really it's a language skill building program, Brock. So we don't have time to go into all the details, but if this is something that piques your interest, then let me give you the URL. There's an information page that'll take you through, pretty much everything you want to know about how the program is delivered, what you get in the program. My assistant's email address is right there on the page. So if you have a question, you're not sure if it's for you, shoot us a question. But if you go to crazygoodtalks.com/EEA, Brock, it'll take you directly to the information page on the program. And I'm giving you a secret. This is a secret link. Actually, it's not a published page. So if you decide you're interested in joining the program using this link, then you'll get $200 off tuition.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dierdre. And Suzanne put that in the chat box as well. So if it's easier just to copy and paste, that's great too. I took a ton of notes. It was really great stuff. Just to kind of recap a few of them. I loved your Martin Luther King quote. I also liked focus on who you're being, as a leader and a first responder. I loved, only one thing more contagious than coronavirus, and that's your attitude. How do you want to show up? And I think there's so much of that as an advisor, as a colleague, as a friend, as a parent, as a spouse. How are we showing up? And it's really, really easy to sit around and kind of feel sorry for ourselves. But I think it's really important as an emotionally engaged advisor and leader in our community and for our clients that we're showing up the right way. And I love some of the responses: visionary, leader, confident, resolve, and empathetic. I love the energy protection plan. Actually, one of the questions that came in Tim Hutchinson asked, what are the 6 daily practices you mentioned? If you can just
Oh yeah,
recap
sure.
that.
Yeah, and the energy protection plan is used. So I've had an energy protection plan for years. So, I'm a keynote speaker and trainer. Normally you see me like, maybe live, right? And so whenever I'm speaking, I always have what I call my energy protection plan. So I can show up and be powerful for you on the stage. Well, I started thinking when this went all down, I need an energy protection plan now every day. And I didn't take that as seriously before, Brock. I mean, I'm someone who's usually powerful, but I never intentionally said, oh, Dierdre, you need an energy protection plan every day. I just did it like the few hours before I was going to speak. Well, now I'm doing it every day. So here are my 6 practices, and I want to encourage you to come up with your own, or if mine help you, awesome. So prayer, Bible study, and I could put these in the chat. Well, maybe Suzanne, you could put these in the chat, right? So prayer, Bible study, journaling, meditation, exercise, and then connecting with a friend or family member on Zoom or a phone call, some sort of socialization are my 6 daily practices.
Yeah, I think that's great. And it's just good advice, because I know, and it's funny, we were prepping for this, and Dierdre sort of said, Dierdre and I have known each other for a while. And she said, how are things going for you? I said, I'm just averaging like 15 Zoom calls a day. And I took the advice of, you got to have pauses in there and just sort of recalibrate, which is really good. I love the Socrates, build the new. And one of the last things that you sort of glazed over, but I think is great, call your chicken list, right? Who are the people that maybe, literally if I turn my computer around, you'd see this stack of files that are the people that maybe I'm a little chicken to call. Why not call them? People are looking for a second opinion. Mm-hmm. And if we can be that resource, I think that's huge. So Dierdre, I sincerely appreciate you. I appreciate you carving out the time. For those of you who might be looking for speakers at future NAIFA events, Dierdre's awesome. She does a great job and really plows her mind, body, and soul into this. And so I really, really encourage you with that. Go check out the website. Also, just real quickly, a couple of upcoming things. Kevin mentioned the special webinar on April the 22nd at 2 p.m. That is all the frequently asked questions related to the Paycheck Protection Program. So I know that for me personally, as a business owner, as well as working with business owner clients, lots of questions around that. On the 23rd is Wade Pfau. All these are at noon from here on out. Wade Pfau is the 23rd at noon. Joe Jordan is the 27th, a week from today. Scotty Brennan, former MDRT president, always has this calming influence and just some great ideas that I know he's going to share with us on the 30th. And then the last one for today's recap is David McKnight on May the 4th. More to come after that, but hope you'll join us. And again, please invite friends, family, colleagues, people who you think might benefit from this, because NAIFA really wants to serve you well in this unique environment. So with that, again, Dierdre, thank you very much. Appreciate everybody being here. And we'll talk to everyone hopefully on Wednesday and Thursday at our next webinars. Thanks very much, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.